Every parent wants their child to succeed at life. Well, there are lots of ways to define success, and it's pretty subjective to measure. I think that most parents would agree that a part of being successful is having economic independence, meaning that that child grows up to be an independent adult who can be financially independent from their parents. As a young adult, I'm in a prime position to evaluate the effect of high school employment on the future success of young people and observe the effects of paid employment in high school in my life and the lives of my friends and associates. As someone who was unemployed during her adolescence, I firmly maintain that paid employment would have benefited me greatly and that it could have taught me a lot of very valuable skills and increased my marketability. In this speech, I will demonstrate how employed high schoolers go on to attain higher future wages, complete higher education programs in less time, and are less likely to have stretches of unemployment than their peers who did not work during high school. I also want to stress that students gain the most benefit from both working and going to school at this age, and that these studies that I draw on assume that the student is also going to school. So, with that preamble, students with prior work experience, meaning work experience gained in high school, are more likely to receive higher paying positions in the entry-level workforce for their field. So students who work light to moderate hours, especially in their senior year of high school, are more likely to be continuously employed throughout their young adult years, and that has a very direct translation to pay scale. The number of years that you work definitely affects how much you get paid. Of course, there are ceilings associated with how much education you have and how successful, there's that word again, success. It's usually defined by how much money you save whoever you're working for. It's frequently the definition of success, the workplace. But there, especially in those first 5 to 7 years, the number of years that you have worked have a very direct impact on how much money you make. And it also, in addition to the literal number of years that a student has worked, which affects how much they are paid, they are also more likely to have developed the interpersonal skills that will benefit them, particularly interview skills and salary negotiation skills. And they're in a better position to understand how much they are worth from an economic perspective. So all of that together equates to those students getting higher wages, even in entry-level positions. Students with prior work experience are also more likely to finish their education in a more time-efficient manner and to get an education that's tailored towards a specific career path. There's an interesting study done about Switzerland that I'm going to pull on for a minute. In Switzerland, the education system is a little bit different, and recently, meaning in the past decade, they've started offering high school students who are in their last year of high school a 2-year internship that bridges that final year of high school and what here would be the first year post-high school. Students are encouraged to explore a lot. It's definitely a career exploration program, as well as, heavy in the internship arena. And it really allows those students to explore across disciplines. Contrast that to the United States, where the government doesn't provide any program like that. it's up to parents to ensure that students get exposure to different careers. And many students find that they go off to college or they begin a vocational program only to discover that, oh, that's not actually what I really want to do. And it leads to a lot of switching of majors, switching of programs, and that obviously leads to an increased amount of time it takes to complete those programs, and it follows that it'll be longer before they enter the workforce full-time as fully trained in those fields. So while the United States is definitely not Switzerland, we can follow that pattern of exploration by parents choosing to encourage their youth to seek out employment during those crucial high school years and encouraging them to explore different career options and to discover their preferred career path. Students with work experience in secondary school are also less likely to be unemployed in the future. So again, to contrast Switzerland and the United States, as of September, Switzerland has an unemployment rate of 2.4% for individuals ages 15 through 24. In the United States, 16 to 24-year-olds have an unemployment rate of 8.4%. So that's almost double, and so the United States has almost double an unemployment rate, and our statistics don't include 15-year-olds, and Switzerland does include 15-year-olds. So obviously, the United States has kind of a higher unemployment rate, but since the primary difference in the education systems that these youth go through is that Switzerland offers work experience that is monetized and the United States does not, this indicates increased marketability of individuals who are gainfully employed during their secondary school years. A little closer to home, a United States-based longitudinal study also found that employed high school students develop increased resilience to future hardship in the workplace. So, most adults recognize that work can definitely be stressful. Sometimes you'll have hard projects. It will be tough sometimes. You won't always love work, right? So students who are employed consistently employed, but with moderate work hours, meaning they work under 20 hours a week, and experience a medium amount of employment-related stress, tend to develop increased resilience. And while there are short-term negative effects to that stress, they sometimes achieve slightly lower grades, for example. Those students go on to higher paying jobs in the future, and they are better able to manage the stress with maturity, whereas their peers that don't work in high school and haven't had that experience at all kind of get thrown in and are a little behind the curve, essentially. So those are all some really awesome reasons for secondary students to be employed. They benefit most from consistent employment and employment that facilitates career exploration. By choosing to encourage their high school age youth to achieve gainful employment, parents really are encouraging their students to become the future, which is a future of economic independence. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy your day.